Gold card. The problem is there's many gold cards. Well, I will tell you what my people want to call it. It'll drive you crazy. It'll drive the left crazy. They want to call it the Trump card because the Trump card sells much better than the gold card. Everybody has a
So you're not worried about any unsavory people coming in and taking...
Yeah, I'm worried about unsavory, in which case we're going to
be vetted.
Give them the money back and they get out.
They'll be properly vetted.
They're going to be properly vetted, but, you know, we're talking about a lot of people. I think it's going to be very successful. If somebody's wrong, we actually are very, very nice because it makes it a lot easier legally. We give them their money back and we send them out.
Now, coming up, what President Trump did that made Barron's say, none of your business. Plus, an exclusive with President Trump. If you're successful in deporting these pro-Hamas agitators, as you did with Khalil from Columbia, who was a former student at Columbia, is there any concern that in a Democratic administration, that same provision could be used to deport more conservative thinkers who are also immigrants to the United States? Let's say they're Chinese freedom dissidents from China or others.
Look, no system is perfect, but you say, as I was with Khalil, well, Khalil's not exactly an easy one either, because some judge, you know, glommed onto him. But think of it. The Democrats lost big, and you look at what's happening with Schumer, but the Democrats lost big because of the stupidity of, you know, they're backing these 90% negative things from their standpoint. Men and women's sports, transgender for everybody, all of this stuff, they're all for it. And you know, they're still fighting for it. But now they have a new one. We're going to back murderers, killers, and people that hate our country. We're going to back people that hate Israel, want to destroy it, people that are murderers, people that are horrible. We're going to back them. I think that.
Give me 1 second. 1 second. Just got to reload this here.
Might be 100% issue for us. They don't ever find an issue that's like a good
politically
issue.
Very helpful.
No, politically. I mean, this is not back in Khalil is not a great issue, but back in Khalil's better than back in these other, you know, hundreds of people that are really serious criminals. It's probably a step better than that.
The EB-5 visas, you've spoken about them in the fraud and abuse of that process over years. They're basically immigrant investment visas. $800,000, you can get a fast track to a green card. You don't have to speak English. You don't have to have a special skill, but it's very popular. It's a big, long line of people waiting to get these EB-5 visas.
We're going to have one that's much more popular.
But the golden visa, which you're obviously backing, probably is going to have to go through Congress. We'll see if they actually do that. But $5 million investment from a foreigner coming into the United States. Why should our citizenship be purchased for any amount of money, especially given the fact that you're America first, given the types of people who have $5 million to throw down for a visa or for a permanent residency?
That's why, because I'm America first. Because at $5 million, you're getting a lot of things, but you're getting $5 million. Let's say we sell 1 million of them. That's $5 trillion. We are now a unbelievably successful country, paying down tremendous amounts of debt. It's all going to pay down debt. We're going to have very little debt.
Separate fund?
But if you did, think of it, if you did $5 million. Now, generally, people that can pay $5 million are going to be job producers, okay? They're going to be successful. They're going to produce jobs. But here's another thing. Apple comes to me. A lot of companies come to me. They say, sir, we just made a deal to hire the #1 student at the Wharton School of Finance or at Harvard Business School or anything else, or MIT or Stanford or any. But they're going to throw them out of the country the day after graduation. They'll buy these.
Why should any American kid become a computer scientist?
And by the way, they're going to call it either the gold card. The problem is there's many gold cards. Well, I will tell you what my people want to call it. It'll drive you crazy. It'll drive the left crazy. They want to call it the Trump card because the Trump card sells much better than the gold card. Everybody has a
So you're not worried about any unsavory people coming in and taking...
Yeah, I'm worried about unsavory, in which case we're going to...
They're going to be vetted?
Give them the money back and they get out.
They'll be properly vetted.
They're going to be properly vetted, but, you know, we're talking about a lot of people. I think it's going to be very successful. If somebody's wrong, we actually are very, very nice, because it makes it a lot easier legally. We give them their money back and we send them out.
Now, coming up, what President Trump did that made Barron say, none of your business. Plus, an exclusive tour of the
fat by every...
in June
It
with
could
Xi
be.
in future. And there's also talk of a Beijing summit between the two. But what's the truth? Here's more of my interview with President Trump.
No sound. All right.
Is there going to be a summit?
I wasn't saying anything. Nothing in particular. I was just saying we're going to watch the rest of this interview. Then we'll get into the show. I was just logging on. So I just happened to see that there was a Trump interview that was premiering. So I figured I'll use this instead of the intro, the 5-minute countdown. It's a little over 5 minutes, obviously, but we only got about 3 more minutes. So just like as you're joining, subscribe, maybe send it to a group chat. We got a full show for y'all today. And damn, now that I just said full show, I'll tell y'all about that later. All right, whatever. Let's watch the rest of this and then I'll fill y'all in. All right. Y'all can hear me now. All right. I was eating my food. That's why. Let's watch the rest of this.
Summit in June.
It could be. I mean, I wouldn't mind a summit, but there's going to be something else taking place. It's called April 2nd, and that's going to be tariffs. And China will pay and other countries will pay. We've been ripped off by every country in the world, friend and foe. And on April 2nd, I call it the liberation of America. We've been the fat, dumb, foolish country that allowed everybody to rip us off, including our friends. Look at NATO. Until I got involved in NATO, we were paying for the whole thing practically.
There's a lot of talk about a possibility of a recession, and CNBC had a report from the Fed saying they can't rule it out. It could actually happen. What can you say to Americans tonight who are concerned about the possibility of a recession, given the fact that you're trying to reorient the economy to a manufacturing economy again?
I think if I didn't get elected, our country would be finished to start off with. And I think now that I did get elected, I think we're going to have the strongest economy in the history of the world. And I had that economy in 4 years, with all the harassment, with all the crazy people after me, with all of the things that went on, even with COVID. I had the strongest economy in the history of our country. I had a stock market that went up 88%. 88%, #1 in history. The other markets went up 66%, and I think like 71%.
Will we see a recession in 2025? Are you ruling it out?
We're going to have the strongest economic country in the history of the world, of the planet. We are taking in so much money. Now, some people are unhappy because, you know, it has to come from somewhere. Some of it's going to come from Europe because not everybody's going to be doing as much business maybe in Europe and other places. But I can only speak for the United States. And I am a nationalist, and I'm proud of it. I love this country. And I want to help other countries, too. Look, I'm the one.
Yo, do y'all got a problem with nationalists? And shout out to Big Bro Doug, just tapped in. Maya's in the building. Eb letting me know that my sound was off. Definitely appreciate you. Do y'all got a problem with nationalists? I just want to know. Y'all let me know.
And if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't be talking peace in Ukraine and Russia, because they're not Americans being killed. They're Ukrainian soldiers and Russian soldiers, and I'm trying to make peace. And again, it has not that much to do other than we don't want to be paying billions. You know, Biden spent $350 billion on that war. Got nothing for it.
How do interest rates end up going down when we're servicing our debt to the tune of about $1.2 trillion a year, and there's still deficit spending in Congress? How do we do that?
We have to pay off our debt. We have to start paying it off. Look, we're very under-leveraged when you look at the asset value of this country, but we're over-leveraged in terms of cash flow. We're going to have a big cash flow. We're going to take in, for years we allowed our country to be raped and pillaged. Raped and pillaged, terrible expressions. And that's what happened. Much of it was done by our friends. Look at the European Union. We can't sell cars to them, but they sell millions of cars to us. They don't take our agricultural product, but we take theirs. The days are changing. We're not going to let this happen.
It's Barron's birthday on Thursday.
Yes.
And we've all as a country seen him grow up and see him really grow up.
Tall.
How often do you talk to him? Do you talk to him every day?
All the time.
What do you see for
all my kids? I speak to all my kids.
What do you see for his future, given his aptitude in certain areas? Business, politics, what?
I think business, and I think he could probably, you know, if you look at my kids, all of my kids are sort of, they've been very good. They're very smart, always good students, always the big schools, the good schools, hard to get into schools. Barron's a very smart guy, but Eric and Don, Tiffany, Ivanka.
Skeegums.
They're smart people. I'm lucky. Look, you have to be a little bit lucky, too. It's not like that. But they seem to be very smart. Not only seem to be, they are very smart. And they're good kids, and they work hard, and they love our country, and they're proud of their father. And, you know, we have a very good relationship.
You talked the other day about how music was your aptitude as a child, that your father saw that you had a musical aptitude. And so it's kind of obvious in kids early on what they're good at. But is Barron's aptitude, in your view, business or politics?
Maybe technology. He can look at a computer. I'd try turning off his car, I'd turn it off. I'd turn off his laptop. I said, oh, good. And I go back 5 minutes later, he's got his laptop. I said, how'd you do that? None of your business, Dad. No, he's got an unbelievable aptitude in technology.
What do you do when you can't sleep? Because you don't sleep. You're like me, you don't sleep at all. I know you just don't need a lot of sleep. But when you can't fall asleep, you wake up in the night, how do you go back to sleep?
Well, the only thing I totally admired about Sleepy Joe Biden is the following. He'd go to a beach. He'd lay down in a cot, barely able to get his feet through the sand. He'd lay down, and within minutes, he's sleeping, and you have cameras watching him. I could never do that. I would never be able to sleep like that. That's about the only thing I think that was wonderful. He was a disaster. This man was a disaster. I don't sleep much. You don't sleep much. A lot of people that love what they're doing don't sleep much, I find. And so far, it's been okay.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe.
Yo, man. All right. That's the, dang, can I get I feel like we got to, hold on. I feel like I got to play the whole, they done messed up the whole intro, but I don't know. It is what it is. It is what it is. We got to play a little bit of the intro, right? But, instead of the intro, Steve's in the building. Prof, let me actually turn this down so I can. So Prof said nationalism isn't bad in and of itself, but it being embraced by the wrong person or group of people can get ugly quick, i.e. Proud Boys. I agree. What's the matter of fact? What's the definition of nationalist? Because I'm assuming that it has to be associated with some type of nation, right? Nationalism definition. Let me look it up just so I could, for my own understanding. So it says identification. Hold on, I'll share it with y'all. You guys can see the screen as well. All right, so nationalism, it says identification with one's own nation and support for its interests, especially to the exclusion or detriment of the interest of other nations. All right, see, that's the thing with it, though. The Proud Boys got to understand. There's a lot of other. America's a nation of a whole lot of different types of people. It just is what it is. So when you're pushing, I guess so. Damn. So hold on. When you think about it, the only difference between nationalism and racism, well, racism, I guess, is the belief that one superior is greater or one race is superior to another, or a bunch of different definitions. You got to have the power. We get all that. But I guess the only difference is between nationalism and racism is just having that energy for the nation rather than race, like basing it on Like, because if I just took this definition, hold on. Oh, my fault. I thought I shared the screen with y'all. If I just took this definition right here and said nationalism, identification with one's own nation and support for its interest, especially to the exclusion or detriment of the interest of other nations. If I took nation out and just put race, identification with one's own race and supports for its interest, especially to the exclusion or detriment of the interest of other races. Now we see the problem. Well, one of the potential problems with a nation or with nationalism. I guess, can't we just kumbaya and just be one big world? No, I wouldn't like that either. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I would. Shout out to Steve in the building. I think that we need to drop back and pull back from hemorrhaging money and resources all over the world in order to get things fixed here at home. I'm with it. I think you definitely got to take care of home first. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Like it or not, there's a bunch of different nations. I was just talking as far as one big world. I don't know. Who knows? I'm not going to say that it can't happen, but as of the way things are right now, I have no problem with nationalism. I have no problem with nationalism. I think it's to Prof's point. Hold on to what Prof said initially, which is, hold on, let me see. I think it's to what you said earlier, as far as it's not bad in and of itself. I guess it's just how it's used and by who. Because if you're pushing your country first, if you're pushing your people first, I mean, a lot of people would argue, well, I ain't gonna get into the whole DEI conversation yet, but if you're pushing your people, your country, I guess that's cool. Now it just comes down to, at what point am I willing to push for my people at the detriment of another group of people? So that's what it would be for me. Skeeg said, David, what's up? Chilling, bro. We here. Prop wrote, that's a random ass question, and this just went comedically left. Yeah. My question or hers with Trump? With Trump. I assume you're talking about Trump. That's why I asked it. But yeah, it definitely went left. Steve wrote, I think we need to drop back. Okay, I already read that one. He was knocked out on that lawn chair. Oh, man. Shout out to, I wonder what Joe Biden's doing right now. Joe Biden probably living life, chilling, relaxing. That's a great pivot. Racism is when nationalism goes left. Great connection. And the reason why I'm asking is because, we throw out a lot of these terms. And whenever I'm thinking about nationalism, depending on who's saying it, I've heard some people use it in a positive light, and I've heard the same people that use it in a positive light in one situation use it in a negative light in another situation. And it does depend on how it's being used. I know Malcolm X, like when you think about a lot of the principles that Malcolm X used to stand on, a lot of people used to get upset with him, saying he's a black nationalist, saying that he's the next Messiah, all these other things, the next black Messiah, J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI. I think it was J. Edgar Hoover. I said I think on the last one, so let me confirm that, but I think it's him. That was the one. That's why they made it a mission to get Malcolm up out of there, in my opinion. So Cuzzo, shout out to Cuzzo in the building. Can't clean someone else's house when yours is dirty. That's a fact. Ebony wrote, to the detriment of other nations is where they F up at. That's a fact. And that's the same thing with racism or maybe a lot of these isms. You know what I'm saying? Push your joint first, but to what point are we pushing for our people to where it becomes detrimental for another group? And not detrimental in a standpoint of competing, but I guess just from a moral compass standpoint, what are we willing to take? Damn, is that really what it is? What are we willing to take? Hold on. Let me take these service. I don't know if y'all can see. I don't know why my service is going in and out. Let me get off the Wi-Fi for a second. And then we'll get into, all right, Wi-Fi is off, so we shouldn't have any more issues. All right, so hers, avoiding stairs. Let's see. Ebony wrote, that's a lack mindset. The earth is abundant and is better when working in harmony. Greed forces lack. Okay, I like it. But when you're working with somebody else and you're doing a deal with somebody else, I don't know. If you're competing against somebody else, That's a good point that you brought up. That's a lack mindset. This applies until you're competing directly with somebody. If I'm competing with you for that job, we could sit here and say like, oh yeah, like, well, maybe they'll create 2 jobs for us, or well, even if I lose the job, I still competed with you and I gained a lot of tools and skills and now I can apply them to somewhere else. Yeah, that's all cool. That's all cool. But at the end of the day, you're still lost. You still lost the job. You still lost the Super Bowl. You still lost the game. So in certain instances, when you're competing with another group, when we're competing with China, when we're competing with another country, when we're competing in the Olympics, I don't know if I want these golds. Every gold I get, that's taking a gold away from you. I mean, right? I think, I don't know. Am I seeing it wrong? Maybe. Brookie likes the jerseys. Thank you, Brookie. I appreciate it. I thought you were calling me a brokey first. No, I'm joking. Thank you, Brookie. Cuzzo, what's up? What up, my brother? All right, so we here. Got the intros out the way. Prof wrote, unfortunately, America wouldn't exist without greed. Matter of fact, let's start right there. I wasn't gonna start right there, but let's start right there. All right, so I got a Jason Whitlock clip to show you guys. And if my internet keeps going in and out, give me the heads up on that, please. But I got a Jason Whitlock interview that you guys need to see. All right, I should have it already. My fault. I wasn't going to go this way. Usually I do the icebreakers first, but since we're talking about this, I would like to bring up this Jason Whitlock video. All right, let me just go right here. I think it was at around 43 minutes. Okay. Ooh, y'all know this about the. All right, so I want to play this clip. So I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Hodge twins. Here we go. Hold on. Let me make sure that I got it. There we go. All right. I don't know if y'all familiar with the Hodge twins, but enjoy. Hold on. Let me catch up with Ebony's first. Ed wrote, a team will win the Super Bowl, but you shouldn't have to poison the other team to do so. Everybody should still be able to live and play ball. I'm 100% with you. 100% with you. We got to have some sort of rules when it comes to this stuff. We got to have some sort of rules. I don't know why the internet's going now. All right. Let me play this video for you guys.
That the Hodge twins, these are some guys that are really, really politically incorrect. They're funny. They're black. You know who the Hodge twins are. But I saw this clip they put out, and this is them being politically incorrect and, you know, controversially comedic. But they put out a clip of some Africans eating ice for the first time. And they did this as a joke, but there's actually a lesson to be gleaned from this. And people need to, oh, this is offensive. How dare they mock these people? And don't you feel, and they just want to kill everybody with empathy and sympathy rather than with reality. Let's play SOT number 12. The Hodge twins put this clip out. Let's stop the clip. The Hodge twins put out this clip, and I can't remember what the post was they said, but it was mocking this, and basically saying like, hey, these people haven't evolved. And I'm sure there are many people that saw it, oh, these sellout, coon, Stephen from Django, how dare they do this? And that wasn't my reaction. My reaction was, thank God my ancestors were on that boat to America.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? And hopefully it didn't go out. Hopefully I'm sorry, I've been having a little, in case y'all didn't notice, I got a new camera. That's why it's coming through a little clearer, but I think it's messing with the internet. So I'm yelling to Maya, I got to keep putting it on mute. But did y'all hear Jason Whitlock? Hopefully that wasn't muted. I'm a play back a couple seconds.
And that wasn't my reaction. My reaction was, thank God my ancestors were on that boat to America. Thank God they endured the suffering so that I could enjoy the benefits of America. Thank God that I was delivered from that continent, that country, that part of the world that hasn't evolved. And I have no shame in saying this, that I feel blessed to be an American citizen.
All right, those are two totally different things in my opinion. All right, so pretty much what I was saying before is this video, when I first saw it, I couldn't even, like, I didn't think that there was anybody that didn't experience ICE. It's not that if I was asked the question, I would think about it, but I just didn't really think like, yo, is there anybody out there that has never experienced ICE? And the way that they capturing, like, the optics just look bad. Like, anybody who experiences somebody new, especially something like ICE, like, imagine if you never experienced fire before, how excited you would be. But I can't rock with Whitlock's take on this one. Like, I can't rock with his take on this one. I get being proud to be American, but this is almost like saying, like, let's say that you go through being assaulted some type of way when you're younger. You go through some traumatizing experiences. I'm trying to choose my words carefully. You use your own imagination. Y'all get what I'm saying? But you become stronger, or because you went through all of this and eventually you met somebody in therapy and you met this person, and then all the dots connected and whatever ended up happening, you had a whole bunch of terrible things, but eventually it landed you in America or in a state that has, I don't know, a state that has beautiful, I don't even know. To then say, thank God that I was actually, assaulted or raped or whatever else I may have gone through because of I ended up in a different situation. It's very, I don't know. That's a slippery slope that I'm not willing to get on. And it's extremely ignorant because he's acting as if every place in Africa is like this. If you go to the backwoods in West Virginia or some of these other less developed areas of America with not as much technology and judge the rest of America on it, you'd be confused. You'd be wrong. But to act as if, like, nah, man, nah. I can't rock with it. Like, this is an example of the indoctrination working. I'm thank God I was introduced to Christianity by these people that oppressed me and raped my family. And like, this is correct. This is wild. This is wild. This is a lot of a lot of people were getting at the Byron Donalds for just saying that during Jim Crow, we had black families together. This is wild. That out totally different. I understood what Byron was trying to say. I can't justify any of this. This is wild. We're gonna keep listening. Hold on. Yeah, you could have just hold on, my fault. I didn't know y'all was all right. So y'all going up. I get what he was trying to say, but if you could say something the worst way, he accomplished it. It's like, bro, I get it, but nah. Cousin wrote, yeah, I'm with his point. He just didn't articulate it well. I'm grateful to be an American in this time, despite the many issues black people face and not having to endure what my ancestors did. He said the ish backwards, word LOL. Just should have said, I'm happy to be here and left it at that. Africa is well developed. That's what I'm saying, bro. You're like, to try to justify why he's saying it, he's digging the hole even deeper. And to keep it real, I tell y'all all the time, yeah, some of us came over here from Africa, perhaps, I guess, transatlantic slave trade, cool. But come on now, we don't think any of us were here. I wish I had this video of some Native Americans, the Mongolians. They were talking about it. So people that we perceive as Native Americans, they had a couple clips. Now, obviously, I'm just going off a couple clips, but they had a couple members of their tribe saying like, nah, we came over the Bering Strait when Alaska was connected to Russia, but there were already people here. Like, we're not the original, like there were already black people here. So I don't know where there's so many other places that I would have gone to illustrate this point rather than how he said it. Like literally, like Prof said, if you could say it in the worst way possible, this would be it. Yo. But like, yo, this is how you know the indoctrination worked, man. This is how you know the indoctrination worked. Like, like, bro, you've only really been exposed, and I'm making an assumption, you've only really been exposed to Christianity. Maybe if you would have been exposed to whatever native religion was in Africa, native religion in America, maybe you would say, well, thank God I'm here. I don't know. I'm just saying it's pretty wild. Low-key Christianity is another example. There's a very accurate black historical version of Christianity that existed way before Europeans, Caucasians got to it. That's just fact. Oldest Bible in the world is the Ethiopian Bible, right? All right, so let's keep going for a couple more minutes. We ain't gonna tear it. All right, everybody's allowed a bad take here and there. All right, y'all gotta give me some grace when I do it because I've done it before. And we just clowning with Whitlock. But we got to clown. We got to call it out when we see it. We got to call it out.
I feel blessed that my ancestors endured the suffering so that I could receive the benefits of Western civilization, Christianity, and the freedom that
What you think his ancestors thinking?
that we all created here in America. And when I say we, I'm talking about white people and black people and the handful of Latinos that were at the founding of this country. And this is the type of conversation that needs to be being had in terms of like, what were the benefits that we, the living, enjoy because of the suffering of our ancestors? And how should we feel about that suffering?
All right, first and foremost, wherever you are in life, doesn't matter where we are in life, right? We're always going to look at the positive. We're always going to look at where's the opportunities here. We're always going to be appreciative of the L's that we took that were losses, that we turned to lessons, and we use those to achieve new success. We get all that. So putting that to the side,
Should we be thankful and gratitude? Like, oh my God.
Nah, he ain't gonna say that.
What they went through so that I would be a part of a culture, a part of a Christian worldview that promotes evolution.
Nah, bro. Yo, first and foremost, if my ancestors came over on the transatlantic slave trade, I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't be having this mindset. I would be having a mindset like, yo, what if they never took my ancestors, right? Because a lot of the people that were taken, they were prisoners of war. It wasn't like people were giving away the people in their tribe, to my understanding. They were giving away people that were POWs, like they captured, like if we captured people from Canada or people from Mexico, whatever, you captured a op and then you sell the op. It wasn't like they were capturing people within, to my understanding, within their tribes. I would be thinking like, yo, if my people weren't sold, then imagine all the amazing things that we could have done, you know, in Africa. If there was a transatlantic slave trade that my people came over, I would also be sitting here like looking at Jason Whitlock and my belief, as far as my people already being here, the true natives, the true indigenous folk. I'm looking at it like, yo, this dude is like, bro, you for real? This is my land. Matter of fact, now we're connecting the dots a few different other places, because when you look around the world and some of the wars that are going on right now, could you imagine? Could you imagine we were here, indigenous to America, right? And then you get somebody like Jason Whitlock jumping on TV or on the internet talking about, oh my God, I'm so thankful that that in this colonialism, in these Europeans coming in and Christopher Columbus and all that. Could you imagine taking away that land? Could you imagine if somebody said those things about some other areas in the world that people are fighting over? This is pretty wild, bro. This is pretty. Well, I want to stop. I want to move on to the next one, but we got to just keep. We got to keep giving it.
That benefits from human evolution. Or do I need to pretend like, oh, I'm so angry about what they had to go through? I would much rather be somewhere in Africa or in one of these places where American evolution hasn't taken full root and bloom.
Damn.
We can't even have this discussion.
Yeah, you ever been on a sales team? Yo, you go to these sales conferences and some people just drink all the Kool-Aid like, yo, this is the best company ever. Like, I couldn't see myself working with any other company. This is it. We get the best benefits. It's like, yeah, maybe, but I don't really know. I've never really worked anywhere else, so I don't really know. You know, this is, yo, they got this, man.
And that's why so many people are filled with anger and animus, entitlement, and a lack of gratitude. They have the wrong mindset, and they don't understand they're stopping their American evolution by rejecting America, by rejecting Christianity.
I don't reject America. I don't reject Christianity anymore. Just being honest. I grew up Christian, was raised Christian, baptized and everything. So when I started to see things and ask certain questions that weren't getting answered and things didn't make any sense for me, not saying for y'all, we all got our own individual spiritual journeys, but for me, when they weren't making sense, and the people that I was asking, the pastors, the bishops, all these different people that I was asking within the church, and then they'll answer some questions, but then for the others, oh, you got to talk to God. I'm talking to you, bro. You're supposed to speak for God. If you're not here to be that messenger, then what are you here for? So cool, whatever. So I only said all that to give a little context around. I'm not against America. I'm not against Christianity. I'm for America. I'm indifferent when it comes to Christianity. You know, if that's what you decide to rock with, then I'm here for you. I'm celebrating with you. I'll open up the Bible with you. We can learn some lessons together. I'm totally cool with that. Just like any other religion. Cool. But the America one I'm standing on, but he's this is a reach. This is a stretch. Matter of fact, Prof, to your point earlier, this is when nationalism gets in the wrong hands. This damn, bro.
We have to have this conversation. What are the consequences of the lack of gratitude and the entitled victimhood?
And shout out to Cuzzo. Cuzzo was in church with me. Cuzzo was right there with me in Sunday school. my grandfather teaching and all that. Nah. Oh man. But yeah, there we go. When I tell you I'm so serious, Cuzzo, I would love to learn the Bible with you, bro. For real. I already started reading it because I wanted to read it for myself. But I'd love to sit down with anybody and learn more about their culture, their religion, their way of life, how they learn certain lessons. I'm with it all.
Mindset that so many people have adopted that they could look at this video and not be overwhelmed with, but for the grace of God, there go I. I could be in 2025 or 2019 or whenever this video was shot, enjoying ice for the first time.
Yo, Whitlock is hilarious, bro. All right. We gotta move on. We're going to, speaking of ice, we'll have a quick little icebreaker before we transition. I thought that this was just hilarious. You see my face on it. Don't even trip. I just thought that this was a funny post. But there's a point to it. There's a point to it. And I think more of this needs to be called out when it comes to these journalists that they want to lean on certain things for sources and there's no name to it. So this is the energy that I'm having when it comes to a lot of these politicians and politics in general.
It's reported that the freeze on U.S. foreign assistance in Africa has, quote, threatened programs intended to counter al-Shabaab bomb makers, contain the spread of al-Qaeda across West Africa, and secure Islamic State prisoners in the Middle East, according to U.S. officials and aid workers, unquote. Are those cuts still in place? Are you concerned about them at all?
Is that the same Washington Post that propagated the Russia collusion hoax for the last 8 years?
Well, regardless of the Russia...
No, not regardless. You're quoting the Washington Post to me, which is as effective as posting for me or quoting to me any other pillar of the fake news industrial complex. I really couldn't care less what the Washington Post or the New York Times says, especially when it's anonymous government officials. If it's true, put your name to it. If it's not, shut up.
The Washington Post reported that...
That's the energy we on. That is the energy we on. Ain't no source. Put your name on it. Put your name on it. You can't come on the news talking about sources say or the Washington Post. And it's funny now, isn't the Washington Post, aren't they going through a rebrand? I think that's the one with Jeff Bezos, right? So they're going through a little bit of a rebrand on their end. All right, so let's look at, man. So I got a question for y'all, actually. Before we get into this next video, I have a question for y'all. Don't be upset with me, please. And shout out to Prof. Prof said, I think I have a great book. I think a great book you would like is The Bible is Black History. The author wrote the book for young African Americans that went to church looking for the same answers like you. Definitely. I know there's a lot to learn, a wealth of a lot of knowledge in that book. All right. So I know that there's a lot to learn. So I look forward to tapping into it. Matter of fact, we should do a little Bible study. Matter of fact, we may have a new, we'll talk about it later. Committing to stuff. One of my issues. All right. If DEI, this is my question. If DEI is so valuable, so important, so beneficial, if it's working, then wouldn't the Democratic Party be the best example to demonstrate that DEI is effective? Take a step back. Hear what I'm saying. Is there any organization that perhaps represents DEI initiatives. I mean, I would think that the group that's pushing for it the most would adopt those principles the most. And as I sit back and look at the Democrats who have the lowest approval rate that they've had in, I think, over 20 years, just approval rate, and they're becoming even stronger and louder. Let me say just louder. I don't know about stronger. They're leaning into things maybe stronger. They're becoming even louder. What does that say? Now, I don't want to get into the whole sexist conversation. Don't want to. Don't want to get into, oh, they're emasculated. The black women are running the Democrats. That's what happens. Or women in general are running the Democrats. Or the type of men. Look at the type of men that they have. Where's the strong male leaders? They all seem to be a little emasculated. You got Tim Walsh. You got Gavin Newsom, who's just kind of just going to say and do anything to get people's votes. You got Buttigieg. Yeah. Actually, I don't even know Buttigieg. I wouldn't. Well, he's gay, but I wouldn't. I didn't mean to say that as far as emasculated. I'm talking about the type of leaders like a Tim Walsh that just probably just says, "Oh no, Kamala, run everything," or whoever you do everything. Or, I don't know, that type of energy. I see it in the pundits that MSNBC, the journalists that they put out there. I see it in the Van Jones. I see it in Don Lemon at certain point in time, but y'all know I like Don. I see it across the board when it comes to Democratic leaders. None of them, they don't have a lot of strong male leaders in their party. I'm just being honest. And like Don Lemon said, when he was talking about you can't be black and you can't be a rational black MAGA person. And Bill Maher said that may be insulting to a lot of black people. He said, well, sometimes the truth is often insulting. Well, I'm just asking questions. Y'all are the party that pushes DEI. Y'all are the ones that embrace DEI. And now you have your lowest rating that you've had in 20 years. What does that say about DEI? Maybe there should be some changes. I'm not saying, I'm just asking questions. Maybe there should be some changes. Maybe it's not working as effectively as we thought it was. Maybe it's not truly representing what we want it to represent. Maybe it's not representing what the people, the party of democracy, right? What the people actually want. If y'all are pushing these things, dying on these DEI hills, dying on all these issues that the majority of the country agrees or disagrees with your stance on, but most people on either side, even if you disagree with, as a Republican, if you disagree with something that the Republicans do or a couple things, you'll still vote Republican. Same thing on the Democratic side. It just is what it is. So that would be my question. And don't answer the question right now. Don't answer the question right now, but I'm just saying that perhaps the Democrats are missing out on an opportunity to prove how great DEI initiatives are by them not performing the way that they need to perform. So that way, the proof, right? You don't even have to prove it. If you were outperforming and you were doing well, then we would say, look at that. DEI clearly works. Yeah, it's definitely merit-based as well as, making sure that we're hiring a diverse group. Don't answer that question. Take a look at this next video. And there's going to be a couple times that I may, out of the next couple videos that we watch, that I may point out different things, but there just seems to be a certain type of way that certain type of people feel that they can move and be passive aggressive and be insulting in different ways, but they know they're going to get away with it. Y'all just take a look and y'all tell me what y'all see. And maybe Chuck Schumer is experiencing this. And when I play the video with Chuck Schumer going at Sonny Hostin, maybe Chuck Schumer is... I'll just play the videos. I'm just wondering. I just had a question. That's all. Let's just play the videos.
I thought this polling was interesting. This is whether Democrats should work with the GOP or stop the Republican agenda. But what I want you to look at here is how this has changed. And back in 2017, 74% of Democrats said they should work with the GOP. Now, 57% say they should stop the Republican agenda. There has been a complete shift in the mindset of the Democratic Party. They want resistance. They want a Tea Party.
100%. And what you just said, we should listen to the people. You said, as a congressman, am I correct in saying that you just said we should listen to the people? Why aren't they listening to the people? There's no leadership. There's nobody doing anything. And what we saw, honestly, was a cave. Yet again, another example with Schumer saying, I don't want the smoke. And we're asking, I mean, they are begging. She just showed the dramatic shift. I don't understand what the problem is. Why is there nobody, for lack of a better word, with some cojones to stand up and say, what are we doing?
I'm just going to give my opinion on it. I think she was asking me. So let me give my opinion. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats, they've emotionalized everything so much because that's how they depend on getting voters and supporters. So they'll try to trigger you emotionally. Trump's racist. He's a Nazi. He's Hitler. Will try to trigger you with everything that they know gets under your skin. They feed into it. When they do this, in my opinion, they excuse, or let me not say excuse. You create a lot of supporters and voters who are thinking more emotionally than logically. And when you're pushing such radical things in your agenda, then they become even more emotional in order to rationalize and justify why these radical things that the majority of them probably don't even agree with, in order to double down on them, in order to say, like, no, I'm still supporting them. They lean more into their emotions and lean away from their logic. When you have a group of now voters that are overly emotional, and I just want to fight. I don't, whatever. It doesn't matter if the decision over here is bad and that decision's worse. They're both bad. We're just going to fight. Who cares what happens? I just want to. You know what children are? Or let me, you know what adults are? Children that can control our emotions. I would say that's maybe among other things, right? But that's one of the biggest things. Adults are children that can control their emotions and move more logically. So what does the Democratic Party do? They create more voters that are more emotional, and the Republicans do it as well, because there's a whole lot of MAGA folk out here, just, it is what it is, that are so emotional to the point where they can't call out anything that Trump did wrong, can't call out anything maybe the Republican Party did wrong. So it's on both sides. Definitely see that. In my opinion, I just think that the Democrats right now are in a position where, because they don't have any foundational principles, nothing to stand on, and they just go against whatever the Republicans do. So any enemy of the Republican Party, they just attach themselves to, and they end up fighting for things that the majority of even their voters, in my opinion, don't agree with. So they have this group of overly emotionally stimulated people who are not leaning into logic. And people that are watching this show that voted Democrat, don't get upset with what I'm saying. Just think about it. Ask yourself, write down 10 things. I've done this with multiple people that voted Democrat. I write down on a list of the things that, like, the 10 top issues, let's say. Do you align more with the conservative values of this or more the liberal values? And 70% and up, mostly, they were agreeing with, or I'm saying all of them agreed with probably 70% to 80% of the more conservative values. Everything that they argue was from an emotional standpoint of just not liking this person. They're an a-hole. If they're in office, they're going to destroy it. It was all like emotionally things. Like, I don't like this person. He's an evil man. He's this, he's that. Okay, what about the other person? Well, he's evil in a different, you get what I'm saying? That's what ends up happening. So you get this overly emotional group of people. And Chuck Schumer, who's been a Democrat for a very long time, he understands that he's just using these things for leverage. Barack Obama understands that they're just getting people emotional, so therefore they can control them, just like they got people emotional during George Floyd, defund the police, whatever. This is their tactic. They need people to engage in them based on emotions. So what ends up happening? Chuck Schumer, who's sitting here as a politician, he's saying like, yo, we can't, like, all right, yeah, cool, y'all want to fight, but we got y'all too emotional. Now y'all want to just throw all the logic out the window, and the very things that y'all are complaining about when it comes to Trump cutting this and Trump cutting that. If there's a government shutdown, then Trump and Elon, right, President Elon that y'all call him, they would be able to cut whatever it is that they want and have even more freedom to do so. So Chuck Schumer sitting here like, yo, and I'm going to play the video out. He made a point saying like, okay, just because one deal may cut your finger off, it doesn't mean that I'm going to, like, and the other deal cuts your arm off. We got to do what's smart. We can't just say, forget, like, not going, if going this way takes my whole arm off and going that way takes my finger, maybe it makes sense to go that way. But when you have a group of people that are so emotional and that are not thinking logically, they're just like, nah, I don't care. I just want to fight. And then when they lose their arm, you know what they're going to do? They're going to blame you. They're going to blame you because you're the one that got them emotional. You're the one that stirred the pot. You ever been in a situation? I can think of one where we got into it at the club one time and we were arguing afterwards. And it's like, yo, you the one that started it. Like, neither here nor there. But that's what ends up happening. That's what ends up happening. And Chuck Schumer sitting here like, yo, like, are y'all dumb? In the Eric Adams voice, are you stupid? That's what he's sitting there. He's not, y'all are not explaining the things. It's like you're not moving with logic because you're so emotionally engaged in this. So this is what ends up happening. So once again, what I just said has maybe little less to do with this video than the next video, but I just want to set the stage and give some context as to the perspective and lens that I'm seeing this video through and some of the issues that I see overall politically. Because like it or not, the Democrats and Republicans, we're on the same team. We are on the same team. And the more we allow them to move and behave as if they're not on the same team, the more radicalized this group is going to get because they just lost. And now this group's going to become even more radical. And then it's just going to be a game of who can be the most radical. And while they benefit, because now we're so scared as the people, we just need to lean into whose side we're on and pledge our allegiance to whatever gang, whatever political party, same thing, that we're aligned with. That's what ends up happening. It hurts us. It helps them because they just want power. That's what these politicians are addicted to. They just want power. So to them, they'll do any and everything to get it because they all think that they're smarter than us, regardless of what they say, which is to one of the point that Carrie Champion made is that they're not listening to the people. Yeah, they all think they're smarter than us. Just like Chuck Schumer thinks he's smarter than the majority of the people said, go fight. Why you ain't fight? Because I know better than you. Because you're too emotional. I'm more logical. Matter of fact, I know I'm smarter than you because for the last 4 years, I've been using race baiting technology, techniques and strategies to get you to vote for me, and your dumbass does it. And both sides do this. They're all guilty of it. So I don't want people who voted Democrat to be saying, he just called me a dumbass. No, I'm talking about all of us. Let me start with myself first, because I've done it as well. We all do it. We all get caught up in it. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Hold on. Let me catch up. Shy in the building. Steve wrote, I think the Democratic Party's approval rating is due to the Democratic leadership just taking things too far and leaving behind a ton of voters. I agree. Shout out to my bro Garrick in the building. Had a great convo with Garrick earlier. I appreciate you sending me a couple messages, making sure that that OG Baywa saw it and let me know. So definitely happy about that. Steve, one of my mentors used to tell me, control your emotions or be controlled. That's a fact. It's a fact. Control. Let me bring it back on the screen. Control your emotions or be controlled. Radical left and/or right equals emotionally charged pendulum swings. And that is not good for any of us. It's not good. It may feel good in the moment, right? You ever have somebody amp you up to do some dumb stuff in the moment? It may feel good to fight that cop in the moment. It may feel good to whatever. Bro, like, let's go home and let's regroup and let's fight this battle the smart way tomorrow. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
What are we doing?
Well,
if
look,
you know we need it, and I'm not trying to give you the smoke, but if you know we need it, why is it not happening?
look, we need to throw a punch. That's correct. And the American people want us to throw a punch.
By the way,
And something that I'm noticing, I'm so sorry, I got to keep interrupting this. A lot of it is it's the women. I'm being honest. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. Maybe I haven't seen, enough liberal media. But when I look at CNN, when I look at MSNBC, when I look at The View, I'm seeing that a lot of the women are more upset. This gentleman seems to understand, like, hey, we had to, two bad decisions, but one was worse, so we went with this one. Chuck Schumer, hey, I didn't like either one, but, hey, I didn't want to, destroy us, put us in an even worse position. So I went. John Fetterman, hey, I didn't want to, so I don't know. And when I say women, as I'm thinking in my mind, I think one of the person, I want to be just honest with y'all, because the person that I heard, I forget her name, but I think she was one of the ones. It was an older white lady. I think she, when they had that Democratic meeting, she was one of the one that was screaming, that reportedly saying that we cannot allow this government shutdown to happen. It's going to make us look terrible. So I'm being transparent with y'all. But when you got people riled up. You got people riled up, convinced everybody there was going to be a fight at lunchtime, and then when you got out there, you wanted to talk. Maybe talking was the right thing to do, but why did you tell and act as if everybody, like there was going to be? I'm just asking.
Your political punch, not
yes.
literal punch, because then they're going to say stuff.
Now, of course, the proposals that they're bringing are horrendous enough for us to do that, and we should do that.
What's horrendous about the CR? It continues funding the government at Biden.
Horrendous about the CR is that it is a cut.
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
If you do not consider the cost of doing business, if you do not consider that the cost of
That's another thing that we got to look up. A lot of people are saying that there's cuts, but a lot of the Democrats are saying there's cuts in it. The Republicans are saying that nothing's going to get cut. I believe one of the people that we had on the show Monday, I think he was saying, like, show me in that CR where it says anything about cutting Medicaid, Medicare, or Social Security.
living, for example, has gone up. That everything has gone up.
Now you're changing. It's not a cut. You're being
It's a
dishonest.
cut.
It's not a cut.
It's a cut.
It's continuing
A cut is a
funding the
cut is a
government at the
cut.
same levels. It's not a cut. You voted to shut down the government. You voted to lay off every veteran in the federal government. You're making a passionate plea for why Democrats didn't shut down the government. And now Chuck Schumer can't even have a book tour because Democrats are so enraged that the government was. And I'm just confused because last week I was told that people going and expressing their First Amendment rights was part of their democratic and civic duty. And now Chuck Schumer can't even have a book party with Democrats over it. I'm trying to decide.
I mean, Scott,
what's
I actually think that Democrats are in agreement with you in the sense that they probably think Chuck Schumer should,
Yes,
to
exactly.
Carrie's point, take the smoke.
2 weeks ago, he was attacking
Show up and
events
take
and
the.
take it.
He should show up and take the L. Is what I'm saying. No one's saying he can't have it, Scott. He can do whatever he chose to. But once again, another example of him deciding to hide. I would love for him to go on the book tour so that he can answer the questions of the American people. Security risk. Perhaps may be true, according to what Abby has said and what his office is saying.
Who would be the security risk, though?
I don't know.
Who would be the security risk?
Wait a minute. The book is about.
Who is the risk?
Scott,
Can we just admit who the risk is?
The book is about anti-Semitism, right? So I guess somebody that might be anti-Semitic might target
the left.
Chuck Schumer. Tomorrow,
Yes.
he's supposed to be on The View. I think that hasn't changed. He'll be on the hot seat there. I also think he should go on this book tour, because if we are talking about Republicans who don't have the cojones, to quote you, to show up to actually even do town halls, even though there were town halls of constituents all over the country this weekend begging the Republicans to show up and answer questions. They refused to do so. But so I think Chuck Schumer should face the music.
They won. Anna Navarro, y'all didn't have this energy towards Kamala when people didn't even know what Kamala's plan was. She wouldn't show up on long form podcasts. She had her team going in there saying her chair had to be a certain height and she could only answer certain questions. You didn't have that energy then. The Republicans won. Now they got to redo. They shouldn't be. When you win, you don't. Victory Monday. When you win Sunday, you get off Monday. If you lose Sunday, you got to go to practice Monday. It's a difference.
As harsh as it may be, should answer people and should portray some leadership and confidence, which he has done in the past.
Okay, I think Chuck Schumer was the adult in the room. He did what the American people want. The American people want government. They want people to get deals done. And the fact of the matter is, people don't want to punch. The fact of the matter is, people are actually excited. NBC News on Meet the Press, they reported their polling found the highest level of enthusiasm and the country going in the right direction since 2004. 20 years. So President Trump is doing exactly what he campaigned on. That's why 76% of people said, according to CBS polling, agreed with his State of the Union speech, which included a lot of independents and a lot of Democrats who were watching that speech.
Carrie.
That is why...
Carrie, my namesake, Carrie.
Yes, my fellow Carrie.
You do know what you're saying is incorrect. I don't care about the polling.
Talk to
the
NBC.
American. I don't care what NBC is saying. I can talk to the people on the streets. Are you on the streets? Are you talking
Absolutely,
to people?
I am.
Yeah. I've heard plenty of times that black women are the least protected. Don't seem like that to me. Not on these liberal networks. Like the passive aggressive. Oh, Carrie, you have to know what you're saying is incorrect. It's the poll that our network, as well as another liberal network, put out saying. So I don't care about the network. Are you in these streets? Carrie Champion, what streets are you in? What streets are you in? This is the problem. They all want to, this is what she's really trying to say. You're not talking to black people. Are you in these streets? Democrats thought that they were in these streets and all this other stuff because y'all got Kamala Harris commercials on the BT Awards with Taraji P. Henson screaming and looking like a fool, in my opinion. Y'all thought that, and what did Trump's numbers do? Trump's numbers went up amongst a certain population, right? His numbers improved across the board in all demographics, really. They try to... I tell you what, imagine if this lady right here on the right, celebrating St. Patty's Day, I believe, with the green. Imagine if she did what Carrie Champion just did to her. How that would play out. Oh, now I hate black women. I get it. All right.
In real life situations, who have everyday jobs, who are saying they're unhappy, you know very well.
Are you saying CNN polling is wrong?
No. What I'm saying is, don't try me today, Scotty.
We put out a CNN poll. Are you saying our polling is wrong?
No, what I'm saying to you is that.
Don't try me today, Scotty. Yo, I don't know who's pushing this narrative to push a particular type of image or what's going on with this Democratic Party. Like the don't try me, Scotty. Like, come on now. It's becoming the quote unquote victim has officially become the bully. Because if a guy said like, little my, like, don't try me, little my, And no, my name is Mike. Y'all know the energy. You do not call a black woman by her abbreviated name. You do not call it. There is a black woman's. I'm just saying exactly what y'all know. This is how this goes.
That by and large, people are not happy. This
No,
is
they're
not,
very happy. They're unhappy with Democrats.
You're happy.
They're happy with Trump.
You're happy. Democrats aren't happy. We're not happy with Democrats and the way they're handling
Let me try to sort this out real quick before we have to go to break. The American people are not very happy with the direction of the economy. They are not very happy with Democrats. There's a lot of unhappiness to go around.
All right. Let's move on to the next video. I think we're going to look at, I think it was Chuck Schumer. Yeah, we're going to look at Chuck Schumer's video that I was referring to with him and Sonny Hostin's exchange. So let me bring that up on the screen, full screen, that thing.
Governor Pritzker's chief of staff, Ann Caprara, has said the following. The fight going on in the Democratic Party right now is not between hard left, right, and moderate. It's between those who want to fight and those who want to cave. And it gives me no pleasure to say this to you because we are friends, but I think you caved. I think you and 9 other Democrats caved. I don't think you showed the fight that this party needs right now because you're playing by a rule book where the other party has thrown that rule book away.
True.
And so in my view, what you did really was in supporting that GOP partisan bill that Democrats had no input in.
Yo, dude, like I know that's a thing where people always say like the Democrats, the Republicans, they thrown out the rule book. The Democrats, we always, we on our high horse. But is it really like that? Like, is it still like that? Was it like that? Is it always like, I don't know. Was defund the police like that? I don't know.
You cleared the way for Donald Trump and Elon Musk to gut Social Security, to gut Medicare, to gut Medicaid. Why did you lead Democratic senators to play by that book that the Republicans are not playing by?
Okay, first, I'd say, Sonny, no one wants to fight more than me, and no one fights more than me. You got to fight smart. It is not true. That bill had far less it was bad. I hated it. But it does far less damage to Social Security. Medicare, Medicaid are far more susceptible to being eliminated, which is what that horrible Musk. Can you imagine this guy Musk, a billionaire, saying $1,100 for a senior citizen is not necessary,
but aren't
or
there
a Ponzi
cuts
scheme?
in that bill?
There are many fewer cuts in that bill than that would be in a shutdown.
But they
it was
still
a bad
exist.
choice. So we got to. Yes, they exist. But if you have two, have two choices. One bad, the other devastating. One chops off one of your fingers, the other chops off your arm.
That's right.
So I want to fight, and we are fighting. We're going to fight every day on this, every day. Today, we're fighting them on Medicaid. Tomorrow, we're going to fight them on, the next few days on tariffs. We're going to fight.
All right. And I want to clarify something because I checked my notes and I wanted to make sure that I said something. I have something written in bold. It was for the last segment, but it is what it is. The problem that I have with a lot of these women, some women that I'm seeing on TV that we highlight on this show, I think the Democratic Party has encouraged women to lead without accountability. You ever been in class where somebody's able to lead, but they're not held to the same rules and accountability as everybody else? That's what I'm saying. When you have a group that doesn't believe, why am I even clarifying? Y'all gotta clarify yourself. When you have a group that just believes that because things have happened to them in the past, that they can now do these same things to everybody else and they can't be checked, it presents a problem. And that's what I was saying may be what Chuck Schumer and a lot of these Democrats are experiencing.
Fight them on Social Security. But I want to win and fight smart.
Yeah.
Not just, I understand, we want to stick it to them.
Okay,
We're going to stick it to them and fight smart and win.
Okay.
Senator, I want to talk to you about your book.
Yes,
because you're
thank
here
you.
to talk about this, a new book, Anti-Semitism in America, A Warning. Now, as the highest-ranking Jewish official in the U.S., this is clearly
Ever, by the way, ever.
Ever.
Who would have thought? An exterminator's son.
But it's very personal to you.
It is.
Why are you writing it now?
Okay, good.
All right. We're going to leave that one there. So Chuck got to respond. There was another clip. Hold on. There was another clip that I wanted to show y'all with Joy Behar that I thought was a bit misleading. Let me try to find this clip real quick. What I'll do is I'll show. No, hold on. Just give me a sec. Give me a sec. Give me a shit. Give me a sec. All right. Oh, man, they got a lot of videos up. All right. Let me just do. I want to share a clip. Joy made. I have the timestamp. Hold on. 2 minutes and 21 seconds. All right. Is this it? I think this is it. Did I just guess right? No, hold on. That's the same one. Hold on 1 second. Give me a second. Chuck Schumer. That's from 2 days ago. All right. Hold on. Senator Chuck Schumer defends Chuck Schumer. Okay, I think this is it. Bear with me if it's not. We could always do it on Friday. No. All right, we're gonna audible it. And this is the hardest thing for me because really I want to keep looking for it. Hold on. All right, no. We got to switch. We got to pivot. Everybody who's saying keep looking, we got to pivot. Maya, you didn't find that joke funny? I thought that was funny in the group chat. I guess not. I'll pay for that later, I guess. All right. Quick little icebreaker, then we'll get on to the next video. I thought that this was a funny one. We've seen a few of these videos where it's like, who said this, Trump or Biden? Oh, it's already 10:17. All right, so good. Just a heads up, I got to drive down to William & Mary, my college, tomorrow. I'm only going to be there for a day. So Steve's on. I think that's the Steve. Steve, you changed your name, so I'm not sure which Steve it is. But I promise you, I will see you and my favorite. See, hold up. Dr. Professor King just responded. Hold on. Let me see. And I was like, so I'm Professor, I promise you I'll be back down soon. But yeah, we'll figure that out. Want to stick it to them. Sounds like Chuck has lost sight of his job to serve America. When any politician makes it a personal vendetta against another party, then the people lose. Why is this so hard for us to understand? Why is this so hard to understand? And please like and share, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Why is this such a hard concept to understand? We do not like if the people, if you make the people want to fight and then say the people want to fight, you know what I mean? Like, you ever have a leader, somebody that can control the group, let's say, and you know that you can control the group, you know they see you as a leader, and you get them all fired up. You like, yo, this team we're fighting this time, we're not taking it. And then you get them all riled up, and then you ask them like, yo, so what do y'all want to do? I mean, we want to fight. All right, that's what y'all want. You can't, you're the one that's feeding into it. You're the one fueling the fire. Ooh. I try not to. Oh, man, that was like a semi-burp. I don't know. But you're the one fueling the fire. Of course, the people, now that you got all fired up, now, we're just listening to the people. No, and Chuck Schumer knows. He knows better. And, yeah. All right. So, and I was actually going to say that's smart. Matter of fact, Maya, you need to change your last name. Not to call. Well, you just keep it Maya. I'm clowning. Let's get back to the show. I told y'all we needed an icebreaker. Sometimes my attention can go all over the place. All right, so let's take a look at this and move from there.
I'm going to read you a quote, and then you have to guess if Trump or Biden said it.
Sure. It should be fun.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. Who do you think said that, Trump or Biden?
Unless you have a what kind of accent?
A slight Indian accent.
Trump.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
The next one is, poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Oh, wow.
Which one of them said that, you think?
Trump.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
All right, that one I'm a little bit confused on. Am I missing something? Because I don't really see the issue in that. Like, if y'all going to attack my bro Biden, then at least be, come correct. There's enough to attack him on. But I didn't, what's wild about it is it sounds, y'all know Uncle Joe was more of a moderate, conservative Democrat. Am I missing something? Hold on. Hold on.
Trump.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids.
I don't understand that. Matter of fact, isn't that similar to the post that we put up the other day? And for those that didn't see it, I want to play it again where Trump was talking about, I'm not going to play it again, but if y'all force me to, I will. But where Trump was talking about how an educated black person has certain advantages over an educated white person. Now that's a little bit different, but I don't know. It seems to be along the same lines. I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with Biden saying that. Matter of fact, I would think that would be a plus for most people.
Black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it.
Would you be surprised if I told you that both of those Biden said?
Very surprised. But prayerfully, he turned a new leaf, and he's a different person today.
Did you hear the quote that he said more recently during an interview where he said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black? Quote, you ain't black?
What? No. Where did they...
All right, first off, this lady is completely lost because to not see that, well, maybe this interview was a while ago. So maybe this was a while ago, but this interview that he's doing, because for her not to hear that at this point would be wild. So he's implying white kids aren't poor or poor kids are not white. Oh, that's the issue. Wait, is that the issue? He's implying, hold on. Let me run that back. I mean, when you look at the numbers, Maya, what did Don Lemon say? The truth is sometimes insulting.
This notion that somehow if you're poor...
Kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Which one of them said that, you think?
Oh, I didn't even peek.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it.
Would you be...
See, hold on. But by the numbers, well, this is the problem that I would have. First off, black people can't say anything. If you black, we can't say anything. Now, if I was poor and a part of a different minority, or maybe if I was a part of a different minority, maybe I would be offended. But black people, look at the numbers. We're at the bottom when it comes to average household income for the different demographics of Americans. So black people can't say anything, but but for him to say the white part, white Americans, it's time for y'all to step up too, because y'all like number 8 on the list. When you look at average household income. So yeah, now Biden needs to fix that. But that to me, that's when the unk came out of Biden. That's when you found out Biden's been in politics for a very long time. He's been around. This is an older gentleman. This is how they talk. All right. So Prof wrote, when poverty doesn't discriminate and poverty affects more white people, the media just portrays the opposite. Okay. And I think you're more so talking about the poverty, like more white people, because there's more white people in the country, more white people are on food stamps and stuff like that, on welfare and whatnot, more of them. Yeah, but based on the percentage, you know what I'm saying? That's what I was more speaking to. But you're right. All right, let's let's keep going. Maya changed her name to Maya C. It sort of implies white kids can't be poor. Yeah, that's I missed it on that. See, that's the MAGA in me. Nah, let me stop. No, that's not funny. He said white instead of wealthy. Then corrected himself to say wealthy. All right, I got you. We just joking. I'm just joking. All right, let's keep going.
You surprised if I told you that both of those Biden said?
Very surprised. But prayerfully, he turned a new leaf, and he's a different person today.
Why do we give Biden that pass and not Trump? I'm just wondering. Prayerfully, I think she said pray. I don't know what she said. Hopefully, Biden turned a new leaf, and he doesn't feel that way anymore. Why don't y'all give some of that grace to Trump, man? Give some of that grace to Trump, man. Damn.
Did you hear the quote that he said more recently during an interview where he said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black? Quote, you ain't black.
What? No. Where did they? Where was that interview aired?
I believe
on the
it was,
National
the
Negro
Breakfast
Network,
Club.
the Breakfast Club.
I think so.
We got more questions. You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see. Take a look at my record, man.
Do you have any thoughts about that?
And you know that man. What he said? Now, what he said, take a look at my record, man. Y'all, let me stop.
For my community. I would love to see. Take a look at my record, man.
Do you have any thoughts about that?
It's really unfortunate if that is factual and he did say that. Very unfortunate, and I'm at a loss for words. I've never heard those type of negative comments coming from him or his administration. I didn't know that he would even ever be capable of having those views.
Why do you think maybe you haven't heard of those comments coming from him?
Well, everybody deserves a second chance, and who people may have been 20 years ago, they may not be today. 15, even who people were last week, they may not be today. As an educator, I just believe in giving second and even third chances.
Can Trump get a second or third or fourth chance? Like, what's up?
So I'm just going to assume that that's possibly why it's not.
All right. All right. So the last, we got a little bit. All right. Yeah, we all over the place. Yo, man, leave my Uncle Biden alone, man. Leave my Uncle Biden alone. All right. So what do we have? I think we have Elon. So, yo, I got a question for y'all. How do y'all feel about all this hate that Elon's getting? I feel like Elon is very close to, like, on a scale of where he is right now to Kanye. Like, I feel like he's like, and Kanye has lost it. And I haven't even seen the latest rant, but he's lost it. And when I say he's lost it, he's lost control of controlling certain things that he should be saying. I didn't even see the things that he said. I heard he said something about Jay-Z beyond. No, when I really mean like he's just lost control. Like he said, F it. Like, I'm just saying what I want to say. I don't care how it sounds. I don't care who it hurts, who it affects. I'm saying it. That's what I mean as far as lost it. And I think that Kanye is crying for help. And I think that I hope, I don't like, I hope certain people get help, but I hope that he's, whatever he feels he needs, he gets. Well, yeah, got to be careful with that, right? I hope that, I wish him the best. I wish him the best. Let me just say that. But when I'm talking about where Elon is, I feel like y'all gonna drive my boy Elon to just have a nervous breakdown. Like, chill, man. If Elon was a Democrat, y'all would be looking at him. I'm challenged on the spot. You know, when she hand you the ice cream, you gotta hold up, man. Hold up. My hand's a little slippery. Y'all know I got that condition. Stop playing. Nah, don't get me nothing. Don't get me nothing else. That's disrespectful. That was disrespectful, man. Hey. And my hands are a little slippery. Y'all got me nervous. That's why it took so long. But the Talenti to tell them to stop tightening so damn much. But getting back to Elon. Yo, are you on camera? Hold on. No. All right. No, you're good. Getting back to Elon before I was distracted. Elon is about to have a nervous breakdown. If Elon was a Democrat, matter of fact, when Elon was rocking with the Democrats, y'all loved him. Now y'all just cool with my man's like Tesla factories getting burnt and Molotov, whatever the cocktails are. I forget. I don't even know how to pronounce the Molotov or Molotov. I don't know. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The bottle bombs, the fire bombs. Y'all out here like, why? Why? Like this man just rescued some astronauts in space that were stranded out there, I believe, for like 9 months. Why are we not celebrating Elon? This man is like, this is sad to see. It's sad to see. They have convinced people that for anybody to gain a certain amount of riches and wealth, that they had to do it a negative way. There's a whole lot of people out here doing BS to get money. There's a whole lot of people that we know growing up that did a lot of BS to get money. There's a whole lot of people we know that are still doing a lot of BS legally and illegally. A whole lot of people, depending on what industry you work in, doing a lot of BS. I know a whole lot in healthcare. A lot of BS. A lot of BS. As I'm pointing one finger this way, four fingers back my way, 3 fingers, whatever. I've seen it. I've seen it. So when you get Elon, who's really like, yo, dude is everybody. Elon literally became everybody's superhero. Like what you read about in comic books, Elon is like, I don't know, but let's just take a look at it, man. And I'm pissed off because y'all emotional people. Y'all got so mad at Elon. Y'all killed my stocks. Y'all destroyed my stocks, man. Y'all destroyed my stocks. I'm down. But you know what? I'm still fighting the good fight. I'm fighting the good fight because I told y'all before when I was voting for Trump, I was not prioritizing finances, the economy. That was not my number one thing or my number two thing. It was culture, period. Culture. We're the culture of the country. Culture sets the tone on everything. And I'm standing with Elon. I'm rocking with Elon. And I promise you, I'm not Elon. Yo, this is for you. I'm not selling any part of my shares with you. I took pretty much all my money out of all my other accounts. Our money, right? My listening. I took our money out of all the other accounts and put them all into Tesla, pretty much. Like 95% of my money or our money in Tesla. And look what y'all doing. Because y'all salty, because y'all some sore losers. That's what y'all are doing. Stop. Enough's enough, all right? Enough is enough. Man, I was talking my talk too the day of the election when everything went up, and now it's going down like 40%. So think about that. If I had $10 there, now there's $6. That's a problem.
Now, we begin with the space rescue, a phenomenal point of our history. Last night, 2 American astronauts, Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore, returned to Earth after 9 months in space. Their return capsule was met by a group of dolphins. You can see that magical moment right there on your screen, shortly after splashdown in the Gulf of America. And it's all thanks to Elon Musk and SpaceX, who made it a priority to go and get them.
Thanks to the excellent work of the SpaceX team working with NASA, the astronauts are now safely home. And so congratulations to the SpaceX and NASA teams on excellent work, and a huge note of appreciation to President Trump for prioritizing and expediting their return.
Those astronauts may not be here, safely back.
Yo, Elon just looks drained, man. He's looking in the camera. He's on TV. Where's his joy? Kamala, give him some joy. Like, y'all done took all the joy out of this, man. Like, he's up there. He's thinking about you could tell he's like thinking about what he's saying, how people are going to cut it up and chop it up. Like, yo, let Elon be Elon. If Elon is not confident, if we make Elon insecure, that may be hurting the entire world. Think about that. Think about that.
On Earth without Elon Musk. People should be rooting for him, thanking him.
See, look,
but because of his partnership with President Trump, The left has somehow turned anything associated with Musk into a target. We've seen agitators firebomb Tesla dealerships and repair centers. Cars are being keyed in broad daylight. A Jewish Cybertruck owner found a swastika drawn onto his vehicle. All of this has cost business owners and dealerships tens of thousands of dollars in damage, not to mention the fear that this stokes.
Yo, this is the emotions that I'm talking about. Like, y'all don't even realize y'all were just rooting for this man. Like, most of the people that own Teslas are liberals, I would assume. Matter of fact, let's ask ChatGPT that. Hold on. Let me ask ChatGPT. This is crazy. This is like hustling backwards. Let me ask ChatGPT. I don't know how they would find this information out, but let's see. Are the majority of Tesla owners Republican or Democrat? Do I have to say not car owners, not stock? Let's see. Tesla's customer base. Hold on. Let me pull it up so y'all don't think I'm lying. Let me pull it up. I'll bring up the screen. Hold on. Let me share. I got to get out of here soon. Oh, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here soon. I got to go. Is this it right here? Yeah. This is it. All right. Just so I can read it to y'all. Let me make sure y'all seeing that on the screen. All right, boom. I'll make sure I ain't pull up the wrong screen. Tesla's customer base has historically leaned Democratic, with 38% of owners identifying as Democrats. However, recent trends indicate a shift in this demographic. A survey from August 2004 revealed that 31% of potential car buyers were less interested in purchasing a Tesla due to CEO Elon Musk's political influence. Additionally, Tesla's favorability among liberals and Democrats dropped 39 to 16% over a 6-month period. I thought y'all cared about the environment. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. It's not like they're buying. I thought y'all cared about the environment. I thought it was an environmental thing. That's what I thought it was. That's what we were told. They're doing it for the environment. Now, when I don't like somebody, now we see what happens. There's no logic amongst these people. And where are the Democrats that are calling out this nonsense? Maybe there are, maybe there aren't. I don't know. I haven't heard any Democrats that are calling out this stuff. It's crazy.
Now Musk is blaming the left for encouraging this violent behavior. Here's what he told our Sean Hannity last night. Watch.
It's really come as quite a shock to me that there's this level of really hatred and violence from the left. I always thought the left, or Democrats, were supposed to be the party of empathy, the party of caring, and yet they're burning down cars, they're firebombing dealerships, they're firing bullets into dealerships, they're just smashing up Teslas. Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. I've never done anything harmful. I've only done productive things. So I think we just have a deranged. There's some kind of mental illness thing going on here, because this doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense, Kennedy. None what.
Like Steve said, buy the dip, because one thing, even though I'm saying that Elon is pissed off, and perhaps he's getting ready to, I don't know. Elon is an obsessive winner. He's an addict. So I don't know when the stock is going to bounce back, but I am confident Tesla will bounce back. And just like Steve said, always have a little money off to the side to where you can, when your stock, if it does go down, invest in some quality stocks. If it does go down, that just means the stock's on sale. So get it while it's hot. Because just like it can go down fast, just like it went up fast, it went down fast. And hopefully once it goes back up, I'm pulling, I think. I don't know, man. At least a good amount. All right, whatever. All right, so I think that for the sake of me driving at 5 o'clock tomorrow, I'm gonna ask y'all if I can wrap it up now. So dry powder. Oh, Steve. All right. So it's funny that you say that. My dad always told me that it wasn't his mentor, may have been his mentor. Somebody that colleague of his, he used to say, got to keep your powder dry. Keep your powder dry. Never know when you're going to need it. So I'm with you. All right. So shout out to y'all. For those that are new to the show, well, make sure that everybody likes, please. Appreciate that. And subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. This is where we do at the end of every show. That's the most important part of the show, where we take 45 seconds to get your breath work, to meditate, manifest, be still, whatever it is that you need. Give yourself it, whatever you need. We say every breath, we start with the breath out, that exhale. So that way we create space and room for the new opportunities that we're looking for, the positive energy. We got to clear all that negative stuff. So every breath, every exhale, we're clearing out all the negative. Every inhale, we're inhaling all positive energy. Take this seriously. For real. And, it's Wednesday. So y'all know we set out every Sunday and Monday to do, make this our greatest week ever. Consider this halftime. Give yourself whatever you need to have the best night's sleep, dream about the most positive things that you can, so you can wake up encouraged, inspired, with the right mindset to be disciplined as you go after the goal that you set in the beginning of the week of making this our greatest week ever. So with that, 45 seconds. If you're in a safe place, close your eyes and we will begin that now. Go. All right, last exhale. Last inhale. All right, y'all know we come here to do elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint, challenge ourselves to raise our standards to become the best leaders we can become, which are needed now more than ever, and also challenging ourselves to grow into the people we need to grow into in order to accomplish these audacious, arrogant, absurd goals that we set for ourselves, because we know that we are built for making the sacrifice of time, effort, energy, and whatever else it takes in order to make it happen. Strength and honor, onward and upward. Get to that bag. All right. Get to that bag. What do I mean when I say get to that bag? All the things throughout the week, the little things, right, that we know that are going to accumulate in the big picture to be all the things that made sure that we were on the trajectory of achieving our goal of purposeful abundance. All right. Let's live in our purpose. Let's move with purpose, and let's win. All right. Did I already say strength and honor, onward and upward? I think I did. Get to the bag. What's in your bag? You got to decide for you. What's in my bag? The things that I focus on: peace, love, happiness, health, wealth, and in everything we do, integrity. Shy sent the gang. My favorite professor said, love the exhale, drive safely, and we'll touch base soon. Tell folks I said hello. Give a hug to the entire family for me. Appreciate you. Safe travels to and from. Enjoy your time at William and Mary. I love y'all. I'll see y'all soon. Ew.